All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back. I'm back with my guy Ham. Little 2-week travel period for myself. Ham filling in, doing a quick hit himself. Appreciate that, man. But we're back. Feels good to be back here, breaking down the Sunday night football game. And hey, I mean, you look at the schedule early in the year, and you look forward to a game like this. Come what, week 13, and now. It's not the case, right? The 49ers haven't hashed out to be the team that everyone thought they were going to be. Obviously, riddled with injuries. More on that here tonight. Tons of injuries coming in. And it's a snow game, Ham. It's the snow. There's so much snow in Buffalo. Oh, my God, I don't know how the game's going to get in. We got interstate shut down for 90 miles with the lake effect and the snow going on. But, hey, this total still Vegas still threw out a 45 total. Hung a 45 total out here. So, I want to hear your thoughts on that, but I'll bring you in, man. Happy Sunday. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, happy Sunday. I mean, if the snow is gone, obviously they can manage that. They'll be shoveling it off. It's the wind that I think that's really going to affect this game, if there is any. Don't know if there is any at this point, right? Roughly 12 hours from the game. But, yeah, when the schedule makers made this game, they thought it was going to be a great one. Still should be an okay one, but with the injuries and with C-Mac missing most of the season, I think the Bills, and we'll talk about it, but I think the Bills kind of handle this one fairly easy tonight. Man, they seem to be rocking and rolling. So yeah, looking forward to breaking it down and Josh Allen, his MVP campaign. So yeah, should be a Bills game in my opinion, but we'll talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's opinion coming in, obviously, right? One team is trending up, one team is trending down, right? Brock Purdy's coming in questionable here tonight. Other key pieces out for the Niners right now as it sits are Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, Lenore, Aaron Banks, Jordan Elliott. So a couple big losses on the defensive side, obviously, there. And then obviously Trent Williams, right, on that offensive line, right? He's a big piece in that line there, one of the best left tackles in all of football there. So 45 total, 6.5-point spread here. Bills favored at home, right? You get these West Coast boys coming up to the Northeast, right? Playing outside, Sunday night game here, and it's been a blizzard out there in Buffalo. Should be fine, I think, for the most part. By the time kickoff kind of kicks off here tonight. But what's your thoughts? Any kind of overarching thoughts about this game? Kind of from a first glance here, how do you feel it playing out here? You kind of obviously hit on it a little bit, right? You think Buffalo kind of controls it. I tend to agree there, but any other kind of overarching thoughts here on tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, I have more interest in both sides of the running game. I mean, still Christian McCaffrey, right? He can catch short passes. He can run it. So I think it's going to be more run-focused. And then obviously Purdy being the biggest news. I mean, James Cook, let me go back to the running game. James Cook's obviously in play. Josh Allen with his legs as well. And then for me, it's going to come down to Brock Purdy. All signs are pointing towards that he is going to play. He is listed as questionable that you said, but he didn't have any setbacks yesterday or Friday, so he's looking to play. So that's a big piece of news. If Brandon Allen were to get a start again, I talked about it last week in the slate playing over at SHIPIT Nation, but he's a very bad quarterback, and in the cold, his small hands. I would love something like the Bills defense, but it's run game. It's going to be run heavy for me. I was surprised. You kind of alluded to it too at the start of the show. Like, it's a pretty high total for all this snow, but in theory, you got two high potent offenses, so that's probably why it is. But I think it's going to be more of a 21-10 type of game than a 34-20 type of game.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. I just pulled up the weather report from Roth on RG, and he has it tagged as yellow-orange. Says about 10-mile-an-hour sustained winds, gusts up to 20 to 25. And temperatures kind of in those mid to upper 20s there. So I guess not the horrible conditions, not great by any means, right? With the cold and then the snow, I'm sure you'll get some blowing snow around there too, depending on how early the snow kind of quits and they're able to get in there. I know they were they were throwing banners out there and flyers out there for $20 an hour to go out there and shovel snow. So Ham, I don't know if you're in the market there to go and shovel snow. I'm sure you got a nice little dad shovel in the garage there, a little snowblower or something like that. You don't get too much of that down in Nashville. So figured, hey, if you need a little side gig, you can hit on a plane, get up the way to the East Coast, catch the game, and shovel some snow in the meantime there. So I thought I'd throw that out there. But let's jump in.
They'll be out there with no shirts on, no gloves on. Oh, your boy Ham over here, he would need to be all. That's not the job for Ham.
The Ham's not going to be the one that you see on the TV right in the front row with the guys with their shirts off cheering on his local sports team there. That's not going to be Ham. Ham's in the sheets at 7:30 at night, first of all. So this game's a little late for him. But let's jump in. Let's talk. Start with the captain position here. Obviously, in the snow, in these kind of conditions, and just in general, right? Josh Allen, anytime Josh Allen's on the slate, obviously he makes one of the best captains. He's going to be the highest owned captain, highest projected guy, and he's $2,100 more than the next price guy, his fellow teammate James Cook. You alluded to the running game a little bit. Obviously, that falls on the back of James Cook and Josh Allen, right, as a runner himself. What's your thoughts on the captain position here? Hit on those two in particular. Josh Allen projecting early projections about 35-ish%. I could see it coming even higher, right? Everybody wants to play Josh Allen, especially on a showdown slate at home. Big favorites here. I was looking back at some of the past games against the 49ers. The last game, Allen did play the squad. Here, obviously, different teams, different years, things like that. Did light it up for 4 touchdowns through the air. Scored over 30 fantasy points there. So obviously, if he did something like that again, hard to imagine he's not going to be the guy you need up in the top spot there. But any thoughts on him versus James Cook versus George Kittle, who's kind of been emerging right after we've seen these injuries kind of ridicule this 49er squad, right? Brandon Ayuk being the big one that kind of rejuvenated Kittle here. Anytime you see these bigger games, right? These more competitive games. Obviously, it's only a 6.5 point spread here. It's not some sort of crazy spread. And if you think the 49ers stay in it, you got to have to think George Kittle's heavily involved there. So what's your take on those guys? And then any of these other Bills pass catchers? And then it drops kind of all the way down to Juwan Jennings and that. And then the kickers from a captain perspective.
Yeah, my pool's going to be tight tonight. I mean, especially on the Bills side. I'll start there because I do think they'll win this game. But skill position-wise, it's Josh Allen, it's James Cook, and then that's it for me. Too many Russian roulette wide receivers / tight ends, no Kincaid. But he's just got so many guys to throw to it. Amari, Shakir, Keon Coleman is questionable. He could come back. Ty Johnson, he can throw it to him. But Bosa set to miss again. Another matchup. Kevin Givens has been questionable. They're just so beat up on the defense. It is going to be ground and pound, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a Chiefs-esque type game that we saw last week that they played, where it's just win and win ugly. Get it to James Cook. Get 21 points and know that the 49ers can't get there. So it's Allen and Cook only for me at the captain spot. Like I said, this 49ers defense has been bad all season. And it gets worse with their best player or one of their 2 best players set to miss. They do get Charvarius Ward back. The 49ers do. Was going through some personal stuff, so it's good to see him back. He's their best corner. So that would be another reason why I like this running game. And then on the flip side, yeah, I like Kittle. I like Kittle in this contest. 12-9, a good price for him. We've seen time and time again he does have his ceiling's 3 touchdown upside. And Nades, I don't know if there's many other guys outside of C-Mac that maybe have that kind of upside, and they don't have the weapons. They're missing Ayuk. McCaffrey has been hurt all season. Samuel has been a disappointment this season. So Kittle would be my favorite Niner. And then, yeah, you got to shout out the VFL, Vol for Life. Juwan Jennings, just an absolute dog. Been balling all season long. He's 11-1. He's been their guy. He's been their guy more than Debo this year. And I think Debo has more, home run ability. Jawan's going to get there on volume, but I don't mind Jawan either at 11-1 in the captain spot for me. But interested to hear your take, see if you're going to get up to C-Mac.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I don't know if I get up to C-Mac here. I get it. He's game script independent overall, right? At 15.9, I think I'd rather just spend up to Josh Allen, to be honest. But again, ownership's going to kind of reflect that here. The thing I worry about here, Ham, is obviously the Niners are kind of still in play right now, right? Sitting at 5-6. But if they lose this game, right, I mean, it's just hard to imagine they're going to just give C-Mac more work, right? They're kind of at an outside shot looking into the playoffs. It's going to be tough, especially in the NFC, right? With obviously the NFC North going to have 3 teams for sure, most likely in the playoffs there. It's just tough for the squad. And are they going to keep running CMC into the dirt with his injury designation to start the year? I don't know. Maybe late in the year we might see more Jordan Mason, right, coming in there. The only caveat you can say, right, is anytime one of these guys is the starter, Shanahan tends to give almost majority, if not all, the work to the one guy. I just worry a little bit about C-Mac there, and I think if people are going to the San Fran side in this game from the captain position, it's got to be C-Mac, right? So I'd much rather just go to Kittle, I think, in the same team as a captain. If I'm looking to captain one of these 49ers, going to the well with Kittle. I mean, this dude does it. He does it a ton after the catch, too. If there's a little snow or something on the field, too, that helps these offensive guys more than it helps the defensive guys, right? Because they know when they're cutting. The defenders obviously don't. So I don't mind Kittle there. But my favorite captain up top is going to be James Cook, and here's the reason why. Running backs have smashed this 49er squad. Now you take out some key defensive pieces. There's another linebacker as well that's questionable on the 49ers that might miss as well outside of Bosa. So kind of decimated through the middle. And you just saw what Josh Jacobs did to this 49er squad at home. It's a very similar matchup here for James Cook, who gets majority of the work on the ground. And he's going to be leveraged right off of Josh Allen. 49ers have actually been pretty damn good this year against quarterbacks. They played some good ones, right? They played Mahomes. They played a lot of different quarterbacks, and pretty much all of them haven't scored really over 20 fantasy points. Obviously, Josh Allen's a different beast here, but on a one-game sample, I'll take my chances in a game like this to have James Cook as leverage off of Josh Allen in the captain spot, and take my chances that he can outscore Josh Allen here tonight in a game where I just don't think Josh Allen's going to need to do a ton. Could be wrong there. He's the best captain play by far. Everybody knows that. I'm looking for ways to get different, kind of in lockstep with you there. So I love James Cook. George Kittle on the 49ers side, like him a ton. And then the only other captain I'd play for the Bills is definitely Josh Allen, obviously, there. Not going to get to any of these pass catchers. Shakir has a good matchup there, but it's just, man, there's so many guys to feed there. The addition of Amari Cooper, Dawson Knox is now in play, right? Because Kincaid's out there. So you can make you can definitely make the argument these pass catchers get a little bit better with the loss of Dalton Kincaid this game here. But, man, they just have so many different guys through the wide receiver room. It's just hard to really go to any of these guys up top. So for me, going to be pretty condensed. It's going to be maybe a little CMC up top, but mainly James Cook, George Kittle, and then Josh Allen for me. Any final thoughts on the captain position here?
Yeah. Did you say Trent Williams was out already? Or okay, yeah. I thought you said he was questionable. Yeah, I'll just look in. Yeah, he's out. No, man, I think we broke it down well. I think it's going to be tough for any other skill position build to be in the optimal. What's your take on Jawan? I didn't hear you mention Jawan or Debo. No interest in either one of those guys?
It's tough. Jawan's been definitely a beast. He's 11-1, so he's kind of in that sweet spot there for me. I don't mind that. Let's see where Debo's at 13.5, so I'd much rather play Kittle over Debo. Because I'm seeing about sub 5% ownership on Kittle captain here. Obviously, because Josh Allen is going to be probably. I won't be surprised to see Josh Allen pushing 40% plus here tonight in the captain spot. So pretty much anyone outside of him, obviously, is going to be a good play there. If I'm playing Debo, I'd probably just rather play Purdy, to be honest. But either, they're both gross, to be honest. It's Kittle for me, and then maybe Juwan Jennings, just because I think you could see a big Juwan game. He's got a pretty good floor ceiling combination, right? When Ayuk's been out this year, So he'd probably be a distant guy for me, but really I want to be pretty condensed here. If I'm going 3 captains, I'm going Josh Allen, I'm going James Cook, and Kittle. Those are my 3 guys. Over on Cook, over on Kittle, kind of with the fielder under on Josh Allen is kind of how I'm approaching it there. But yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts there. Let's jump into the flex positions here, Ham. Let's kind of start with let's just go position by position. We'll start with the kind of running back room. Obviously, on the 49ers, you got McCaffrey, right, all the way up at the top. You got Jordan Mason, right, the backup, priced at 2,400, which is a little different than what we've been seeing, right, on these showdown slates with these backup running backs there. Usually the backup running backs are priced up in the 5K plus rate, right, in the 5K, 6K, 4K range. He's down at 2,400, and then you got Kyle Juice, right, who they always love to use at 2K. And then on the Bills side, you got Ray Davis who'll get involved. You got Ty Johnson who'll get involved, and then obviously you got James Cook there. Any additional takes on the running back position here? Obviously, I know you're going to like James Cook like myself, but what's your take on Christian McCaffrey? Because he is definitely expensive in the flex here.
Yeah, he's tough. Trent Williams is out. Aaron Banks, another starting offensive lineman, out. Dominique Pooney, I hope I said that name right. He's been banged up, but it looks like he will play. Man, they're decimated on that offensive line. But with that being said, I mean, can C-Mac catch 10 passes for 70 yards? Absolutely. I don't think they'll be throwing the ball downfield. So yes, I do have interest in CMC at the flex at 10-7. I think it comes more through the air, though. I would be building game scripts where it's coming through the air and not necessarily the ground. But 100 total yards, 10 catches, and he falls in the box. I think you're going to need him at that point. Interested to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I look at the game last week, kind of a similar spot, right? Last week they were obviously playing my Packers here in Lambeau. Pretty similar type game script, right? The weather, the cold, everything. It was kind of rainy, right? That game in Lambeau. Now they go up to Buffalo, kind of same thing, right? Big dogs on the road here, and you look. What's alarming to me is McCaffrey last week in Green Bay, who has been decimated by running backs, right? Especially running backs out of the backfield have always gotten this Packers team a lot. I know, obviously, I watch every game. He only had 4 targets through the air last week for McCaffrey. He only had 11 touches there. So in a game where I see it's a similar script to last week, right? I know it's gross to go and click on these 49ers. People already think that, but then they see the name McCaffrey, right? And they kind of just blind click it. I think I'm going to be underweight on McCaffrey here. And it's scary to say because obviously he's the best skill position guy left for the Niners there. But 2 offensive linemen down, a similar game script to last week. And he only got 4 catches last week in a similar script, right? Packers beat him 38-10. I see a similar type game script playing out here, right? And it just alarms me, right? It just worries me. The game before that, he only had 5 targets. The last 2 weeks, right, against Seattle, which was a competitive game, and then Green Bay, which they were trailing the whole game, you think, oh, dump off, which if I was the head coach, that's what I would be doing, right? Dump off to McCaffrey, let him work in space. He just looks like he lost a step as well to me. I'm going to be underweight on McCaffrey here. 10-6, most expensive guy on the 49ers, second most expensive guy in the flex in general. Much rather just play Josh Allen or Brock Purdy, to be honest, in the flex over McCaffrey there. So for me, that means I'm going to probably have a little bit of Jordan Mason maybe or Kyle Use, but realistically, kind of want to fade this entire running back room here for the 49ers in the spot. Just go more on the Kittle, the pass catcher, Juwan Jennings side for me. But any additional takes on the running back position? I know you threw it over to me on the McCaffrey stuff, but any takes on the Buffalo guys?
Yeah, did you see, real quick before I dive over to Ray Davis, did you see that thing this week where it talked about how McCaffrey refuses to come out of the game? Did you look into that at all?
I didn't look into that at all. I just know, this is your franchise guy, right? For the 49ers, you're 5-7, outside shot. It's going to be pretty damn tough to make the playoffs in the NFC right now when you got 3 teams in the NFC North, right, that are all 9-win teams. And you're kind of 5-7. Your only shot is really to win the division, which they could to get in. it's just hard to see with his injury stuff in a game where they're on the road, late nights, right? Post Thanksgiving here, snow, trash up in the Northeast against a really good Buffalo squad. It's just hard to see that they're just going to run McCaffrey into the ground here, kind of the remainder of the season here. But I could be totally wrong on that. But I didn't see that too much. Even if McCaffrey plays the whole game like he did last week in Green Bay, it's just number one, eye test wise, he doesn't look the same, right? Coming off that injury, and just game script wise, they went to when they needed points in that game, they went to Kittle. They Kittle. I see more of the same. Even the game before that, right? You think against the Seahawks, right, which have been decimated by running backs, McCaffrey would have been heavily involved. He only got 5 targets to the air, right? Last week, 4 targets to the air. So used to be McCaffrey of the past, right? We'd see 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 targets, right? For this guy on dump off. It's not been the case. And at 10-6, it's expensive to play, and he's going to garner a ton of ownership because he always does, right? Name value alone. So that's kind of my takes on that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Shanahan. Maybe they were good last year too, and McCaffrey was catching 10 passes. I think Shanahan's a semi-donkey anyway, so maybe they. I was, looking at it the last game. I mean, James Cook played 35% of the snaps, and Ty Johnson played 45. That's just crazy to me. But and all those running backs are lumped together down there in that the 3,000 to I wouldn't play juice, but 2,400. Man, I just can't do it. Nades. I don't see Ray Davis getting there. I mean, when the chips are down, he's not going to be in there. It's going to be Johnson or Cook. Mason could, in my opinion, can only get there with a CMC injury, which I'm not going to be building for that. So I'm out on all these other running backs. Cook or CMC would be the two only for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a much different type of game script last week for the Bills against Kansas City, to be honest. I wouldn't look too much into the snaps there. It is a little alarming, but when you go back to the last 4 weeks, James Cook's up north of 50%, right? So could have been a fluke game script there wise, right? Ty Johnson played a little bit more. They were playing from, I don't remember correctly, but I think that was pretty competitive back and forth game. Ty Johnson's definitely the more guy, the guy they want to use more in kind of the passing down stuff, right? With dump offs and that. So I think that has something to do with it there. But yeah, I'm not getting to know Ray Davis here. I don't think Ty Johnson's the craziest play here because if you did build, we talk about game scripts, right? You talk about a game script that nobody's really building for is Buffalo to kind of be playing from behind or in a back and forth competitive game here. Obviously, Cook can be involved there, but if Buffalo's playing from behind, you just saw it last week, right? 45% of the snaps for the guy Ty Johnson here, and at his price point at $3K, I mean, what do you think? I don't think it's the craziest play. Probably not something I'm going to do, but we talk about game scripts. In your game scripts where you build kind of Niners heavy, maybe you play McCaffrey, right? McCaffrey smashes and kind of goes against what we both said earlier. Maybe you throw in a Ty Johnson there because that means McCaffrey's crushing, right? Buffalo's probably playing from behind. It's going to be through Josh Allen, right? And a guy like Ty Johnson and some of the pass catchers there. So don't hate something like that, but realistically, it's James Cook for me at the running back position. Maybe some McCaffrey, but overall, I want to be under on McCaffrey there. So James Cook is really the only guy that stands out to me. Let's flip over to the wide receiver position here. Obviously, on the Niners, you got a bunch of hodgepodge of guys, right, with the injuries there. But you still got Debo, you still got Jawan Jennings, and then Ricky Pearsall, who's been kind of emerging there. He's 4,800. He's got a really nice price point there. They looked his way a couple times last week. And then Chris Conley there. On the Bills side of things, you got Matt Collins, you got Shakir, you got Curtis Samuel, you got Keon Coleman, who's questionable, Amari Cooper. I mean, you got Russian roulette there for the Bills side. What's your take on the wide receiver position here?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just, man, it's tough. Like you said, it's you want to play Ricky Pearsall, and I don't know what you meant by a couple times, but 0 times targeted last week. It was the week before. Week before. Sorry,
it
was the week before. But what I'll say about Pearsall is, man, he's playing 90% of the snaps. He's playing more than Debo. I mean, he's out there a ton. If you get a Tampa Bay-esque week, I think he caught one and ran it for like 50. That's in play. I mean, Pearsall's a good receiver, obviously first-round draft pick. So don't hate that. I'm with you on that. Curtis Samuel would be another one. He's right there with him, right? He's more of a gadget guy. If they get around the red zone, might give him an end around, a little slip screen, something like that. But Amari Cooper in the Coleman, he may break. He's so fragile at 7,200, and they have Ward back, as I said. I think Shakir is probably the best. Let me see. Shakir, 8,000. But, man, he has no home run ability. He has a very high catch percentage because they throw it to him. His ADOT's got to be sub like 10 yards. I would say closer to like 5. But, yeah, man, looking at it, it's Jawan for me at 7,400. I love Jawan Jennings. He's just the guy that they look for. I mean, when Purdy's in trouble on third down, it's the dog, Jawan Jennings, in my opinion. I'm just trying to scroll through here to see if I see any other names, but it's Jennings, it's Pearsall, it's Samuel. I don't love Shakir, but I would have him in my pool just based on the fact that he's going to get a bunch of targets, especially if they're playing from behind, and they're going to be close to the line of scrimmage. So he's going to catch him and run with them.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. For me, wide receiver, Shakir's the number one. I mean, the targets in the floor are just there. I mean, Shakir has just absolutely done everything for the squad here, to be honest. 11 targets last week in a competitive game there. Only issue is I have is, I mean, he's 8K. I just don't know how much Buffalo's going to throw, but you alluded to it, right? He's kind of he's kind of the Rashee Rice of the Chiefs, right? Before Rashee Rice went down, right? Just everything underneath kind of goes to Shakir, especially now with no Dalton Kincaid. You could see more of that. So I don't mind Shakir. I like him quite a bit from the Bills side. Outside of that, it's kind of close your eyes and pick. I mean, Keon Coleman, I don't love him. I'd probably jump down to the cheaper guys, the Matt Collins, who's been looked at in the red zone a ton. He's 3,600. And then Curtis Samuel, more of the kind of underneath slot gadget guy type thing. You could see more of that in a game like this, right? Just get the ball out quick, shitty weather, kind of go to him. So those are kind of guys. And then I'm with you. I absolutely love Jawan Jennings. He's my favorite wide receiver play, followed by Ricky Pearsall. And then it would be Deebo Samuel. I just don't know, Ham, if there's just something. I mean, you're Kyle Shanahan, right? Your season's kind of on the line the last couple of weeks, and you just have not gone to McCaffrey. You have not gone to Deebo Samuel. Your two best players on your roster left, right, after Ayuk went down. Like, I don't understand what he's doing, if he's trying to lose these games, right, to get a better pick or what his idea is here. But Deebo has not gotten the looks the last 3 weeks, right? Kind of same with McCaffrey. It's kind of a downward trend for your two best players, whereas Kittle and Jawan are kind of trending upward. So that could flip on any game, right? One game sample is kind of the game you want to kind of pay to find out there, but it's been gross and it's been very ugly for McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, which is not typically what the case has been like last season and that. So that's kind of why I'm higher on Juwan and Kittle and Pearsall than Deebo and McCaffrey. But any takes on that?
Yeah, I mean, now that we're talking about it, I mean, Deebo hasn't been Deebo all season, but I mean, if you look at this 49ers team, I mean, he's the only one that can take, well, I say in CMC, but receivers, he's the only one that could take a screen pass and take it 80 yards to the house. He could catch a 2-yard, a slant and just break through there. He could take an end around. So I do like his upside. And, we're over here talking bad about him. I mean, everybody's probably thinking the same way that we are, right? So he'd probably come in super low owned. He is priced up there pretty good. I actually hope Keon Coleman sits. It makes it a whole lot easier. That would, if he sits, he's questionable right now. And I would like Shakir a lot more should he sit. I know they play different positions, but I just feel like Shakir would get a bump should he miss again. So I hope he misses, condenses it even more. But Deebo might be a good GPP play, Nades, now that we're talking about it, if no one's going to be on him. I shouldn't say no one. I mean, obviously he'll come with some ownership, but lower than those other receivers.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be low owned because he's sandwiched between Brock Purdy and George Kittle, right? And you click the game logs. Kittle has a way better game log, and naturally people just want to play quarterbacks, right? So I don't hate it from a game theory perspective. I definitely prefer Deebo over McCaffrey for sure. Because, I mean, Deebo kind of does a lot of the similar stuff that McCaffrey can do, right? Obviously, they're different players and that, right? McCaffrey's better and all that. But mean, he's still kind of their Swiss Army knife, right? For Debo, Debo is. So now that you say that, sandwiched between those two guys, I don't hate him, but again, still not a spot. I just, man, 9K for I get it. He does have but he's got to do something, right? He's got to do it. He's got to go out and do that ceiling, right? In a game like this, he's got to outscore Purdy. He's got to outscore Kittle. He's got to outscore James Cook, even probably, right? It's just hard to, especially if you're going Josh Allen up top, right? Which the field wants to do. It's just, man, I don't know how much people go to a guy like Debo in that range there. So to your point, could be a good tournament play there. Let's jump to the tight end position and kind of round the show out here. Obviously, Kincaid is out here, so you get Dawson Knox in play here at a super cheap price point. They've been known to go this dude's way, right? They know who Dawson Knox is. 6 targets last week for 40 yards, 3 targets for 40 the game before that. He's 3,500. What's your take on the tight ends here? Obviously, we both like Kittle a ton, but any of these backup tight ends come into play here for you tonight?
I don't know if this take is contrarian or not, but my take is you go to Kittle, he's fine. Then you go to every other tight end in your Shiptimizer, and you click that little X button on every other tight end, and then you click that little X, you go boom, 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 boom. You take Dawson Knox out of your player pool, you take Eric Seibert, you play this Morris cat. Yeah, you just X them all out, and then you're ahead of the field because none of those guys will be on the winners at the end of the night.
Yeah, what's Quentin Morris's price? He did get a target last week. Kincaid is out. I mean, if he's $200,
he's 1,600. He could be free, and I wouldn't play that guy.
Yeah, that's still tough. But hey, I'm not gonna X out these guys because I just know what tight ends do. I mean, they could easily just shove it right up Ham's rear end. Right.
Dawson Knox will not. If Dawson, I'm gonna pull a hoop. I'm gonna do a shoey. If Dawson Knox is on the winner, I'm gonna one up hoop. I may even borrow Hoop's dong bong and go a little dong bong.
Oh boy, here we go. Did you hear this? We might have a dong bong action. If Dawson Knox is on the winner, Hamwich is doing a dong bong shoey here.
No, I'm with Hoop. I can't have that on the internet. I got kids. I got things going on. I'll do a shoey in honor of Hoop.
All right. Ham's doing a shoey in honor of Hoop. If Dawson Knox at 4K is on the showdown winner here, happen. Hey. I mean, I think there's a good shot. We expect Buffalo to score points. Majority of this total is on the Buffalo side. They like their tight ends. Dawson Knox is 4K. He's nice. So I like Dawson Knox. I like Kittle. I'm not messing with these other guys, Sauberts or Quentin Morrison's really. Yeah, not much more to say on that.
I'm not gonna play this slate. I'm just gonna hope I fade a Dawson Knox. I don't want to do a lot of shoeys. So come on, Dawson Knox.
All right, kickers and defenses here. You got Moody at 5.2. He's back, right? 49ers defense at 3,200. And then on the flip side, got Tyler Bass at 554. And then you got the Bills defense sandwiched between the kickers, or right below the kickers at 5K. Any takes on the kickers and the defenses here? I know it's cold. I know it's going to be some wind there. It's outside, so usually not the greatest kicking environment there, but 2 decent real-life kickers there. And then 49ers have been decimated on the defensive front, but all it takes is one mistake. Josh Allen's been known to make mistakes. He's been better about it as of late there, but a little scoop and score, a little jumper out, something like that at 3,200. I don't think they're the craziest play. I definitely prefer them over the Bills defense at the price point, I think here. But still not a spot that really want to load up. I'm just not a defensive slappy. I just usually underweight on defense. Black Friday game, first thing I did when my Shiptimizer was hit the X button next to the Chiefs. That worked out pretty well, and they were super popular there. So what's your take on kickers and D here tonight?
Yeah, it's been the year to the kicker. It really has. But, man, I don't know. In the elements, Missouri, Arkansas, we saw it yesterday in the college game. There was snow all over that field. There's going to be snow and cold. No kickers for me, but, man, I love this Bills defense. They are pricey at 5,000, so they will have to do something. But like I alluded to earlier, missing 2 starting offensive linemen. Brock Purdy's been banged up. A third offensive lineman is, limited participant, and then he practiced full on Friday. But, man, I think this defensive line has been very, very solid the last couple weeks, contained Mahomes. I love the Bills defense this week at 5,000. And then, I mean, I get it that the Niners defense is banged up, but $3,200 for a team with Ward and what is his name? What's that middle linebacker? Fred Warner. I mean, yeah, those are two. And Fred Warner's one of the best, if not the best, middle linebacker in the game. So you said it. Anything they could turn the game on its head, but Bills defense, I think, is a great spot, and they'll be popular. So easy fade in GPPs if you wanted to, but I will have some Bills defense because I think they're in a great spot today.
Yeah, the only thing I say about the Bills defense is, number one, they're not priced up to where like the Chiefs were, the Steelers were of two primetime slates in the past. And both the kickers are right there, $200 and $400 more than them. I'm going to hold them in check. All three of them are projected right around 20-ish% ownership amongst the three of them. So, hey, if you like the defense more and you're kind of under on the kickers, you can just allot some of that ownership right to the Bills, and that's how you can easily get leverage on the field there. So I don't hate that. Kind of goes with our James Cook script, right? The little running back DST pairing there. So I don't hate that. Kickers are fine. This is a spot where I'm kind of under on the kickers. So naturally, both kickers will hit the optimal. Just that's the way Showdown goes. And that's the way this season has been. But I think both are fine. I prefer Moody, I think, more. Right? McCaffrey, a Debo, something breaks a play, gets in between, kind of between the 20s, right? And then they kind of stall out with that defense, kick a field goal there. Take your points on the road there, so I don't hate that. But yeah, I like both defenses here, a decent amount, and then kind of a little bit under on the kickers. But that's kind of everything here. I know we went pretty in depth here, but it's a pretty good Showdown slate here tonight. I've had a bunch of near misses lately in Showdown, right? 1v1s and just kind of bad scripts there. But looking, hopefully one of these days we get all the way home to the top. I know. Huge week over here at the Nation. I know a guy yesterday in college football had 3 lineups in the main $20 shipped first for $50K and 3 builds. So that was pretty sweet to see there. And everybody else out there crushing it in the streets. If you're not a member out there and you want access, BF50 is your Black Friday, 50% off your first month, all access. If you don't want all the other sports, you just want football, you don't even need a code. The rest of the football season without Shiptimizer is $99. If you want to add on our Shiptimizer Optimizer, this takes you all the way through college football, if it's available to you, NFL, all the way through the end of the football season, which is Super Bowl Sunday. Includes everything for $129 with the Optimizer, $99 with just the football with no Optimizer. If not, I do highly suggest get in for all access, get all of our sports, NBA crushing, NHL, we've been smashing over there. MMA, everything. Get in there. BF50 is the promo code there. Ham, any closing remarks for the people before we get out of here?
You didn't even mention Jerry, our guy Scarface. All he did was clean up a cool quarter meal on Thanksgiving. No big deal there. But no, appreciate breaking this game down with you. Should be a good one. It's on the FanDuel main slate as well. So looking forward to that. Appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, FanDuel main slate there. I'll leave that to you and your slate plan, what you want. I'm sure you got a little James Cook interest for sure, at least. But they can find that on your slate plan up on the website if they're a member there. So use that promo code BF50, get you 50% off your first month payment. But that's going to do it. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope your main slate is going good. Ham and I will be back next week. But for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.